So, hello everyone, this is the next part of this WTIR playlist that is going on, and in this video, we are going to discuss about the architecture and the working of search engine. And in previous video, we have discussed about web crawling, what is the crawler, and what is the feature that a crawler must provide. So, we have discussed and all these things, and now in this video, we are going to discuss or we are going to understand the most important thing, that is the working of these search engines. So basically search engines are like Google, and you have different search engines. So we are basically going to understand that how these search engines are working, and what are the like main things which are working behind the scenes that you don't know. You are just using the search engine, you are just coming to the search engine, you are just putting your query, getting the data or you information from the server, and just you are going. You never think that what is going in backend. Okay, so today we are going to understand that how this search engine basically works. You can see on your screen I have made this simple architecture of this working of search engine. These are my handwritten notes. I told you many times that these notes will be provided to you in the description box, or you can comment down if you do not get. I will definitely provide you these handwritten notes, and these are absolutely free. So you can just ask me in the comment section. Okay. So just without wasting time, let's start. We will discuss the architecture. So we'll discuss the architecture of this, and you can say working of the search engine. Okay. So just let me change the color now. Just take green. Okay. Just make it a light. Okay. Yeah. So see, uh, first of all, here is our user. Okay, he or she is just putting the query on any of the search engine. We are just considering here that he or she is putting query on the Google. Okay, you can say in the form of keyword he is putting the queries. Okay, in the form of keyword here. Okay, so we are considering that this is Google. So what happen when we put request, when we put our query? So it is a kind of request. We are sending request to the home server. Okay, so this is our starting, that user come here and provided the keyword or request. That request is sent it to the server, and we are considering that we are here using the Google search engine. Okay, now this is the thing which you are able to see. Now we'll see at backend what happened. At backend what happened basically. So see, this is our web. What is web? Basically web is basically I'm when I'm saying web, so this is basically the complete internet, or you can say the huge internet that is available on the web. Okay, so this is the web basically contains each and every information of everyone. Okay, so this is the web which contains the huge data, huge information. Okay, huge data, huge information. Now what happened? This is the web. We are just talking about the backend part, what at backend is happening. Okay, so this is our web. So what happened? Here is our crawler. I told you in the previous video what the crawler does and what is the process of web crawling. I also told you the name of crawler. Another name is spider, or sometime it is also known as boots, bots, or you can say spider and all that. Okay. So what happened? Our crawler is there, which basically is fetching the data from the different web pages. Web, what is web? Web is basically the collection of web pages, and our crawler, or you can say spider, what it is doing, it is just basically crawling these pages just to gather or just to fetch the information. Okay, so what happened? This is our web which contains the multiple web pages, and here are comes the crawler, which basically fetches the source code. Source code, basically a web page has its own source code. Okay, that is basically you can say uh, each and every website basically contains a source code. Okay, so what crawler is doing? Crawler is basically just fetching that source code. And why it is fetching the source code? Just to gather the information about that particular website. Okay, a particular web page. I told you web. What is this web? Web is basically the collection of different web pages or websites. Okay, and now crawler, that I told you, also known as spider, it is basically just fetching the information or gathering the information from these different sites by crawling them. Okay, what it does basically, it basically get it basically crawls the source code, and just crawling the source code gets the information of that particular website. Okay, so the main puppet is our crawler, which is just fetching the data from the different web pages. Now what it crawler is doing, crawler basically just fetching the data and just storing it into its local server. See, this is the local server. This is the local server of crawler. And what it basically stores? The data. which is crawled by the crawler. So this crawler basically fetching the data from the different web pages and now storing the data in its own local server. See my points. It is storing the data in its own local server. So this is the local servers of crawler, and crawler is basically fetching the data from the different web pages and storing it into its local server. Now we have indexer. Indexer, as the name suggests itself, indexer is basically for providing the index to the data or to the information that is fetched by the crawler from the web and which is present in local server. Okay, so now local server basically contains the data which is in index form, which is in non-index form, which is in a raw form. Okay, and raw data cannot be useful for us. Okay, so we need to index it. So indexer basically helps in indexing this raw data which is crawled by the crawler. Okay, which is present in the local server. So the in local server, basically local server contains the raw data which will be indexed by the indexer. Okay, indexer will basically index it just so that a user can get it according to its index, and user can get it with a more efficiency and accurately. Okay, so the indexer will basically provide indexing to that raw data which is present in the local server that was fetched by the crawler from the different web pages that are present on the web. Okay, so this is about indexer. Now after indexing, the data will be in the now structured form. And now if it is in the structured form, this will get stored into the main server, or you can say the another name is database. Now database will contain the indexed data. Okay, indexed data, or you can the structured data which is having a index, which is having a particular index. So that data is basically present in the database, or the another name you can say the main server. Main server basically contains the data which is now indexed, and whose index is index. Okay, so now your database or your main server contains the data which is in the indexing. Okay, which is basically structured, you can say, because it has some indexing. Okay, and who has done that? Indexer. Now our database or our main server is having the data which is completely indexed and which is in structured form, that can be fetched by the user, and user can easily understand it. Now what happened when a user raises a query? So user basically sending a request. Now I told you the user here sending a request to the web server. Now what happened, the basically collects the complete data from the main server. What happened now, a user sends a request, and this server which basically contains the structured data, this will basically give the result or response to the user. And these ranking algorithm also works here. Now what is this ranking algorithm? As the name suggests itself, ranking algorithm, they basically provides the ranking to the web pages, or you can say to the data that was coming from the main server. So ranking algorithm basically works in the middle. They will basically provide the ranking so that the websites can be ranked according to ranking is basically provided on the basis of keyword match. Like user put some query that has some keyword, so the ranking algorithm will basically match the particular keyword into the different websites, and according to that result of matching, they will basically rank the websites according to that result. Okay, so ranking algorithm basically works in the middle of what, of interface, of users interface, or fetching the data while fetching the data from the server. So here ranking algorithm works, and data this data that is coming from the main server, that will with the help of ranking algorithm will rank and then shown to the user. Okay, so this is the complete process of this how search engine basically works, and the working of search engine, or you can say architecture of search engine. And this question will definitely come into your exam, and if it does not come into your exam, so you should know it, because this can be asked in your interview. Okay, and if you are a CS student or IT student, so you should know these things. If you are doing BCA, MCA, BSc and anything, okay, so this should be must, you should know it. Okay, that is very much important. So this is all about the working of search engine, how this search engine works. So I told you here we have taken the example of Google. You this is not only for Google, this is for all search engines. How many search engines are there? This is for all. This is not particularly for Google, no, it is for all. this complete, this crawler, indexer, local server, then main server, ranking algorithm, these all terminologies are work in every search engine. Okay, so this is the complete working of search engine, how the things are happening in the behind the scenes and all that. So this is all about. So thanks you for this video. Next lecture will come